once upon a time in a world of magic, light, and darkness.
Ravni had been to the sprawling complex in Lumina, headquarters to the Order of the Light, countless times in his life, and each visit left him with the same discomfort. It wasn't the grandeur or the complexity of the architecture that unsettled him. It was the presence of so many magic users. They filled the halls and courtyards, some with the ability to perceive thoughts, emotions, and the hearts of those around them. Ravni wasn't one for magic. In fact, he avoided it when he could. But he had been forced to learn one spell, a necessity for traveling with the Cassidan. The spell cloaked his mind and heart from magical perception, and while it granted him a degree of privacy, it made every encounter with Maja Haran deeply uncomfortable. He knew she was aware of the barrier. Still, the supreme leader of the Order of the Light had her uses for him, just as everyone did when he wasn't traveling. He was a messenger, and there was always something to deliver. As he waited in the courtyard, Ravni's eyes wandered over the scene before him. Students deep in discussion over their studies, scholars walking slowly with heads full of complex thoughts, warriors sitting against pillars, nodding off in exhaustion. There was something peaceful about it, but it was a peace that Ravni could never fully embrace. His thoughts were interrupted by a soft voice behind him, one that caught him off guard. Are you wondering if that man was ever like these students you see now? Ravni scrambled to his feet, heart pounding, surprised to find Maja Haran standing before him. She was dressed in her customary robes, adorned with the symbols of the Order, and her piercing gaze was fixed on him. He quickly made the official greetings and salutes, trying to compose himself. Instead of summoning him to her chambers, she had come to him. She motioned for him to sit back down and, to his shock, took a seat beside him. Her eyes studied him as if she was searching for something beyond the cloak he wore. I wasn't thinking about that, Ravni finally replied, after gathering himself. I was remembering when I was a messenger for the kingdom of Baham, the courtyards of the royal palace there. Maja Haran smiled softly, a trace of nostalgia in her expression. I remember King Gus. He was a handsome man, wasn't he? There was a light about him, a true radiance. Ravni's throat tightened at the memory of King Gus. He nodded, managing to say, he was a fine king. The supreme leader's expression shifted. Her eyebrow arched slightly. It's interesting, Ravni, how much loyalty you hold for someone from the country that caused Baham's fall, she said softly. Especially since that very country led to King Gus's end. Ravni smiled, though there was a defiance in it. That was war. The Sir had no part in that. Perhaps he hadn't even been born yet when it happened. This Sir has nothing to do with war. Only justice. Maja Haran's smile grew, this time with a hint of mischievousness. When was the last time you visited your relations in the old country, Ravni? She asked, her voice light but pointed. A sense of dread washed over him. He had heard rumors that a long journey was coming, but he had hoped, desperately, that it wasn't true. Please, Ravni said, his voice low, almost pleading. Don't send me so far away. Maja Haran's smile softened. I wish it could be different, Ravni. But you've been our most reliable messenger for many years now. No one can travel as swiftly, and no message is safer than when it's in your hands. Ravni's heart sank. He knew there was no arguing with her. Still, he tried one last appeal, clinging to a sliver of hope. But the Sir, he was finally going to let me watch him train. Maja Haran laughed, an unexpected hearty sound that startled him. She placed her hand gently on the side of his face, her touch soft and warm, almost motherly. Ravni blushed at the contact, caught off guard by the sudden intimacy. If the Cassitan told you that, she said, then he already knew you were going to be sent away. Her voice was kind, but her words struck Ravni like a blow. I imagine he's already begun another journey of his own. Ravni stared at her, stunned. The Cassitan had known. He had planned this, knowing full well what was about to happen. Maja Haran's laughter softened as she stood up, her robes rustling quietly. Don't be upset, Ravni. The Cassitan has a way of reading through even me. She shook her head, her expression still amused. That's twice in as many days he's surprised me. Ravni, resigned to his fate, slowly stood up. What's the message, Maja Haran? What am I to take to the old country? She smiled warmly, pleased with his acceptance, and motioned for him to follow her. Come, I'll tell you on the way. As they walked together toward the inner chambers, Ravni couldn't help but feel the weight of his new task settling on his shoulders. The Cassitan was already on his way somewhere, far beyond his reach. And now Ravni would be sent even further, back to a place he had long since left behind. There was no escaping the role he had been given. He was the messenger, always carrying someone else's words, someone else's will. And there would be no reprieve for him, not until the next journey began.